Today's guest is none other than Purple Belt World Champion Devante Bones Johnson. He trains with the Miyao Bros and Murilo Santana at Unity School of Jiu-Jitsu in NYC. This guy has been winning tournament after tournament for the last couple of years, including the NOGI Worlds, GI Worlds, NOGI Pans, the GI Pans. He's been winning super fights. He's been winning double golds left and right. He just won the Purple Belt Pan Championships and double gold at AbuDhabi Pro Trials. This kid is a beast, and he delivers some insight on this podcast on his crazy work ethic, his training regimens. He goes in depth on drilling and jiu-jitsu and training with the best. And, he had a lot of great things to say. He was a little shy, but he opened up at the end, and, he's a wealth of knowledge to anybody who's really trying to be a high-level competitor at the game. We hope you enjoy it. Devante Johnson. This guy's a beast. He's an animal.
Hello.
He's a monster.
He's a modest monster.
Thank you.
Humble.
What's going on, Devante?
Nothing much, man. I just got back from Pans literally like 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty much back to training, teaching.
Okay.
And just enjoying the jiu-jitsu life.
Nice, man. Do people refer to you by any other nickname besides Devante Johnson?
Well, normally my jiu-jitsu friends pretty much call me Bones.
That's right, Bones.
No one really knows Devante unless they really know me. But
Yeah.
most people just call me Bones.
That's right.
That's weird because you look like one massive muscle fiber clumped into like a He-Man shape. Okay.
I don't know.
We'll
John
take
Jones is actually a lot bigger. So
Yeah. So the nickname comes because you look similar to John Jones, not because you are very skinny and bony.
Yes. Well, I am kind of skinny and bony, but John Jones. When I first started training jiu-jitsu, my teammates they thought that I looked like John Jones, and so they started one of them in particular.
Yeah.
Actually just started like calling me Bones, because also at the time, like when I first started training jiu-jitsu, I didn't really know what MMA was. But my first impression of MMA wasn't like the Helio Gracie armbar.
No.
I mean, not Helio Gracie, Hoist Gracie
Hoist
armbar
Gracie,
that
yeah.
everybody talks about.
Yeah.
And like the UFC 1, 2, and 3 was great. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah. The glory days.
Yeah, like I didn't really know. My first impression of like MMA was like Brock Lesnar. Because like he was like I was like a huge WWE wrestling fan when I was a kid. And although
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Although I never really I never really liked Brock Lesnar at all, but I loved.
But
like,
that's the time you started watching, right?
exactly. I loved Goldberg, and Goldberg
was the
beat
man.
Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Okay, I'm gonna. I watched that match.
Yeah.
I haven't watched wrestling in a while, but I remember watching that match and how much of a disappointment it was. Right?
No, I was actually
Wasn't it disappointing?
It was a bit of a disappointment.
It was an
but
arm
I
wrestling
understand why. It was an arm wrestling match until Goldberg speared and jackhammered him. But
That's true.
I understand why it was that way, because Goldberg hadn't been wrestling for a couple years, and he just kind of like made a triumphant comeback.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so like you can't really have this guy doing all those like super kicks that he used to do if he wasn't really training like that.
That's true.
But it was entertaining for a kid who loved seeing Goldberg, because when I was like 5,
Yeah.
Goldberg was at his height.
He was the man.
He was-
WCW
yeah,
days.
he was like 100 for
Yeah.
like a while. So like he beat up Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 20, and then I was like, Brock Lesnar's going into MMA?
Yeah.
Like what? What's MMA first of all? And I was like, so he's going to actually fight for real? Because like at the time, that's when I realized that wrestling was fake.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like 10. And like, you could not tell me nothing. I was like, you mean to tell me that these guys are getting hit with that chair and I was supposed to believe that's fake?
Yeah.
They're falling off a
Yeah.
40-foot platform and that's fake?
There's
I was like,
gashes in the side of your head.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, hold up. Maybe they're acting the part of, the whole build up.
Yeah.
They're scripting the scene and everything. Maybe the outcome
Maybe
is
it's a
fake.
show.
It's a
show.
show.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't pay me enough to get hit
Yeah.
with a steel
Yeah.
with one of those
Nope.
Yeah. So maybe the chairs are a little softer than a normal chair that you see that looks like that, but they're getting hit. But they're
No.
falling.
Dude, have you ever sat on one of those chairs?
No.
Dude, those chairs, they're not steel, but like
Yeah.
those chairs are pretty hard.
They're pretty hard, yeah. But to your point is these guys are falling hard on things. They are falling.
They're tearing muscles and ligaments. I'm like, this is a real deal.
Yeah, the stunts are real.
The stunts are real.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what, as a kid, that's what I would have been. If I would have been able to say that, I would have had a much more valid argument. But yes, that's what I was implying, that the stunts are indeed real. And so like my mom was like, listen, he's about to do the real deal now. So like, and I was like, all right, is this like boxing? She's like, no, this is even worse. They actually like bleed for real. I was like, how can you bleed fake? Like, but anyway, and so like I saw him go into like MMA, and then like he like goes in, he's like, I'm like, this guy's gonna use both.
Yeah,
like he sucks in wrestling, and now he's gonna go into like this real fighting thing. So like he goes into fighting, and then that's when I started watching. I was like, oh, Brock Lesnar's actually good. Like, crap. And then I start seeing that these like hammer fists, and I start learning all these like crazy things, and then.
And the thing about Brock was he was a like Division I champion wrestler in college, so he had actual experience.
Exactly. Yeah. So like I kind of like put it off. I was like, oh, this might be fake. And then I saw Mr. Bones, John Jones.
Dun, dun,
Young John Jones.
Young John
20
Jones.
No, dude. Like 19, right? 18,
dude,
19?
I don't know when he came into the UFC, but I just remember him coming in with a bang. I like stopped. Like Brock Lesnar died off a little bit, and then like I remember just seeing like this video clip on SportsCenter or something like that. And he was like throwing like all these flying elbows and stuff like that. And like
judo throws.
Yeah, that's not why I got why I got into jiu-jitsu, but like at the time when I started jiu-jitsu, like he was like coming up, and I was like, dude, that's my favorite MMA fighter there. Man. And like when I said that, the guy, my training partner was like, dude,
hold up,
Bones,
you
look just like John Jones.
Nice,
boom.
And that's your favorite fighter, and it just stuck. Like there would be people that I trained with that wouldn't even know my first name, because like my first name Devante is like, if you don't really know me, it's kind of like really hard to get, but they'll be like,
I mean, it's not hard to get.
It's not hard to get, but if you're foreign, it's hard to get. Like Brazilians or stuff like that.
Definitely.
Devonte. Yeah, I can't tell you.
Devontinho?
Givenchy or something like that, you know? Like, not to like make fun of my Brazilian friends, because I love my friends, but it would just be hard. So like they'd be like Bones, Bonies. So that was like it just stuck. Like
no one ever called you Boner. No. Okay.
I hope not.
We start today.
No.
No, I don't want to die.
I might have to like not let the choke go. If, like,
Yikes. I retract my statements.
He might slip to sleep. Oh, I didn't feel him tapping.
Bones is easier to say than Devante, though.
Yes,
that's for any language. So
absolutely. And when I meet people, it's much easier to say Bones instead of Devante. So I just say Bones. You know. So.
Did you ever go by DJ? Like as a kid?
No. But my cousins and my family, when I was younger, they used to call me D-Baby.
D-Baby?
D-Baby.
Because there was more D's in there? Like more other like kids with the letter D in their name?
No, I don't know. My cousin.
Just a nickname.
Yeah, I can't remember why it was the case with my cousin. He just used to call me D-Baby.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I was like 15, like I hadn't seen him in like maybe like 3 or 4 years. He came back up north. D-Baby! You know, I was just like, whoa. I'm like, dude, come on. I'm like 15. I'm about to hit puberty.
I'm taller than you.
Yeah, I was actually about his height, too. It was funny, but like it didn't matter to him. It was like D-Baby. I was like, all right, whatever.
Hopefully he calls you that for the rest of your life.
Well, he's gone now, but
no, I'm sorry.
You know, unfortunately. But yeah, that was his thing. He used to just call me D-Baby.
D-Baby.
All right, D-Baby.
Yeah, where do nicknames come from?
I don't know.
There's many different levels of nicknames, so D-Baby is one of them. It'll never be explained.
Yeah. The world will never know, actually.
But now we know the Bones nickname.
Exactly.
Bam.
Cool, man.
So, man, rattle off some of your accolades. You've accomplished a whole lot. You've been training how long?
I've been training for officially now 4 years.
4 years?
That's a long time.
And I think you've won more tournaments than lost.
I don't know about that, because I lost a lot.
You know about that.
I still lose quite a lot.
You tore it up at white. You tore it up at blue. You're tearing it up at purple. What's the deal? Like, rattle some of them off.
All right. I won NOGI Worlds at blue belts, NOGI Pans at double golded at blue belt. I won a bunch of New York Opens at blue belt. Boston Opens in there too. Yeah, so I won a couple New York Opens.
Yeah, speaking to the mic.
I'm sorry, man. It's my first time doing this, bro.
It's all good.
But all right, so I'll just start over.
Yeah.
I won 2 NOGI Worlds.
He just wants to repeat his fabulous accolades. But yeah, go ahead, please.
All right, so at blue, I won.
Hold it if you want.
Yeah,
there you
cool.
go.
All right, so at blue belt, I won NOGI Worlds. won NOGI Pans twice because I double golded.
Nice.
I won a couple New York Opens, and I got my purple belt a year ago, of last January, and since then I won a couple of I try to compete at least like once or twice a month, and so I won a couple Opens in Atlanta, New York, Chicago, and I just recently won gi pants last week.
Yeah.
My weight class.
Congrats, man. You got double gold, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh no, you got.
I just won my weight division.
Yeah.
I didn't do the absolute because I had an injury. And,
How about Abu Dhabi trials?
I just won AbuDhabi trials a month ago. Yes.
Yeah.
This guy's active.
And
Yes.
that one you won absolute as well.
Yes.
Which
weight and absolute.
granted you
A trip to Abu Dhabi.
awesome, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
Congratulations.
That's right. That's
Hashtag show the artist.
So
technique.
how does that work? So you won the trials. They're gonna send you to the AbuDhabi Pro tournament, right? That's what it's
Yes.
called. So what do they take care of? What do they do?
So, okay. So the deal is like they like
For someone who has not won it and does not know about that kind of free trip, please do explain.
He's won them little local tournaments, though. I must give him some props.
He
Thank
is a
you,
killer.
master.
You're welcome, brother.
All right. So here's how it goes. So like, you win. They have like 2 weight classes for each belt, a light and heavy open.
Yeah.
So you place in your division, and then you get to go into either a light or heavy open. If you're under middleweight, you go into the light.
Light, yeah.
And then if you're over middleweight, medium, heavy, and above, you go into the heavy. So I won the heavy absolute, and then what they do after that is in about a week or so, sometimes 2 weeks, they send you an email, ask for your passport, whatever the case may be, and then they send you back like a flight itinerary,
Okay.
and they promise you to pay for your flight, your hotel stays, and like any traveling expenses to and from the venue. or
Camel
the hotel.
rides, all that stuff is
I
paid
don't
for.
know, but hopefully I like to ride a camel.
Yeah.
Or something.
And they're covering it. They're not saying you gotta pay for it and we'll reimburse you.
No,
it should be taken care of.
They're gonna email me everything.
Yeah.
So all I have to do is just show up to the airport when they say my flight is,
Perfect.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They-
Big sign that says bones
Dude, you know what's the
in
best
Arabic.
Part? You know yeah, don't you like read from like left to right or right to no? Left
Yeah,
to
it's right to left.
Right to left. That's
Yeah.
what I meant. Left to right in English, right to left
Yeah.
in Arabic. Yeah. I actually was like trying to learn Arabic when I was in high school for a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
This got like too crazy, so I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna drop this. Right
Yeah,
now.
when you start reading from the opposite direction,
Yeah,
it just throws your
it
whole
just-
mental off.
It's too much.
Yeah.
But the best part about this trip, besides winning like if you win like the cash prize, is the fact that they pay for all your food.
Yeah, there you go.
Like they might rethink that.
Yeah, when you get there.
Yeah, they might rethink that when I get there,
Yeah.
actually, because
The accountant's looking over the statistics. Who is this Bones guy?
dude, let me tell you something.
Why is he racking up all these
He's
these
eating up
food bills?
everything. The room service is like $500. He's only been here 2 hours.
Yeah.
But like, dude, the weight classes are so weird because like it's 85 kilos, and then like normally like IBJJF is like 88 kilos. Then I think it's like 94 kilos or something like that. But for this tournament in particular,
Yeah.
it's 85 kilos and 94. So like my division is 88 kilos because I walk around at 85 kilos.
Ah.
So like I would have to like cut like 2 kilos or something like that.
Yeah.
Just so I can put my gi on.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
So, but I was like, man, I want to eat over there. I'm gonna want to eat on this train
True.
for like 15 hours.
Word.
So like I decided to do the 94 kilo division. I'm like 15 pounds lighter than everybody.
Damn.
But like,
So you're still gonna do it.
But I can still eat. Like
Epic,
as long
yeah.
as I can eat, that's
Nice,
good. Like,
man.
Dude, that's
So-
pretty gangster.
When you get in, they give you the option to pick what division you want to be in.
Well,
essentially.
what they do is, I believe, this is what they did for me, and I'm assuming they do this for everybody.
Yeah.
So like, when you win whatever division that you fought in,
Mhm.
whatever weight class you fought in at the trials that you did, they automatically sign you up for that weight class.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you have the ability to switch weight classes until like the deadline, the registration deadline.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna switch weight classes. So I can eat.
So at the trials, you did do the 94.
yes.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay.
And that was my thinking behind that. I'm like, man, if I got to make a cut, flying for 15 hours,
Dude, it's
then,
tough. Yeah.
there's like a 12-hour time difference. Like I don't even know if it's 12 hours, but it's something ridiculous.
It's something like that. Yeah.
Like when it's daytime over here, it's nighttime over there. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just like, man, I'm gonna want to eat. Yeah,
Oof.
dude. Like,
Yeah.
Iago was telling me one time that Leandro was like, man, if you, he's like, look, if you cut weight if you can do it, that's great. But he's like, if you eat
Uh-huh.
and you're happy, if you're happy, you fight well.
That's right.
So he's like, eat and be happy.
Boom.
Don't
That's
worry
right.
about cutting.
Yeah.
Exuberance.
Technique will prevail.
That's
That's
so I was
right.
like, you know what, Yago? You know, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, man.
May I mention that Yago had a stellar campaign at
Yeah.
Pans this past weekend.
Dude, Yago did really well. He looked insane.
Yeah, man. That was probably one of the biggest, like, not surprises, but like, because he just got his black belt.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
didn't know him,
Nutty.
then it was probably a surprise. But like,
Yeah.
you know, I've only known him for like the short time that we trained together at Unity,
Mm.
and I was like, man, this guy's. If you watch him compete and then
Yeah.
you see him train, you train with him, then like you know, like man,
Wow.
like if there's anybody who could go off and pull off winning Europeans
Mm.
and
Pans.
fans in their first year at black belt, he's someone that can do it. I
Super
wouldn't be
impressive.
surprised if he went out there and did the same thing at Worlds.
Oh,
Boy,
oh my
did it at
gosh.
Pans.
I remember seeing him at the New York Open.
Mhm.
I think it was the Gi New York Open. I think it was his last brown belt tournament.
Mhm.
And he, man, this guy is just ferocious.
Dude, the kid.
And Marcos and I were talking about it the other day about his Pans performance, and that he's very much like low, but he's like, I don't know, he's very dynamic.
yeah, he's explosive, he's
Yeah.
strong, he's fast,
Hmm.
and he does indeed play that like low
Yeah.
style, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But he's really good at it, man.
Hmm.
And he's so strong. He doesn't think he's strong, but he's
Yeah.
pretty strong.
Strong.
Man, the way he was able to impose his game was pretty. It was inspiring, both inspiring and impressive.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch, to
Yeah.
say the least.
It's amazing that all these new black belts are able to compete with some of these black people that have been black belts for a couple of years now. Like Yago, he just won. Najmi, he just got his black belt. He
Mhm.
just won his division. The guy who Najmi beat, Sinistro. I mean, he's
Just
got
got his black belt, what, last year, 2 years
like
ago?
a year or two ago. Just the fact that he's one of the one of the newer black belts. Both of them were in the finals together. Like all these new black belts. Mikey,
Musamechi?
yeah, he won his division.
Monster.
He's like 10 years old. he's mad young. And he just won, right? He just
Yeah.
got his black belt like a year ago. Like that's
Word.
amazing, man.
For sure. I don't even think he's had it for a year.
No?
Has he had it for a year?
I don't think so. I think you're right.
His sister is awesome, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he got it like right before American Nationals, like right after Worlds. So
Okay.
it's not even a year.
Did you ever train with him? Because he's been around the New
Unity.
Jersey circuit before, right?
No, I don't think I've ever gotten to train with him.
Okay.
I've met him before, I believe, at Unity. He came by once, but I actually seen him at tournaments a couple times too.
Mhm.
He seems like a nice kid.
Okay.
Bones,
Awesome.
you are a full-time jiu-jitsu competitor.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you do.
Pretty much.
Full-timer, you're train. Does full-time constitute double sessions, 5 to 7 days a week, strength and conditioning program 2 to 3 times a week? Like you're training twice a day,
Mhm.
every day? Is that what's going on?
I wouldn't say every day.
Okay.
No, I don't know how everybody else does their thing. I try to do what feels right for me, and I have like a schedule that I feel allows me to be at my best
Uh-huh.
while not like completely breaking down.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't necessarily mean for me training twice a day. I don't know. I feel like when people say, "Oh, you have to train 2-3 times a day," they look at what other people are doing and they try and say,
Yeah.
all right, if he's won this, then he's doing this.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Right.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I don't try and like copy what
Yeah.
anyone else does.
You
I
listen to your body.
pretty much.
Sure.
I do what I feel is good enough, is adequate enough. For me, like it's kind of like a hard thing to explain because it's kind of like a feel thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like I just feel like if I feel like it's hard to explain because
Yeah.
like I know when I'm ready.
Sure,
Okay.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
What does a typical day look like for you?
A typical busy day.
Busy day.
Even better.
I know your schedule is always busy, but
Yeah.
let's say your busiest of training days.
Busiest of training days. Well, every day's kind of busy because like even when I don't train all day,
Mm-hmm.
like I'll train half the day and teach the other half.
Mm.
So like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, I train all day.
all day means
Means like I'll wake up at like 8:00, you
Oof.
know, sometimes like I have to wake up early because like let's say sometimes I have like a 6 a.m. client
Uh-huh.
or something like that. You know, I'll have to like train them at like 6 or whatever, so I have to wake up at like 5:30 or something like that. So it depends on like what my personal training schedule is like.
Yeah.
And so I can wake up anywhere between 6 and like 8 or 9. I get into New York City by about 10. I normally drill. Like this is something that I really tried to commit to.
Yeah.
I try and drill before training because there's an open mat. There's open gym before training.
And how long do you feel that you're drilling before that?
Just like a half hour.
So 30 minutes solid.
30 minutes, 45 minutes. Just like to like kind of like see some things,
Sure.
Yeah. Are you focusing on one technique, a few techniques, just trying to iron out some
like
things?
Some things, yeah.
It varies.
Some things. So like it varies sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm messing up on one specific thing and I'm like, all right, I need to fix this. I need to tweak this.
Sure.
And then there are other days where like I'm doing say that everything feels really good and there's like a certain transition that I feel is really working.
Sharpen it.
Yeah, I'll just sharpen that. So
let me ask you a question. I know some people. I've heard of some high level competitors talk about how they have a drill list. Like they have a couple of moves that for the next 3 weeks that's what they're drilling for the most part, and they're trying to hit a certain amount of numbers with it. And then like you said, you kind of deviate a little bit when you're not feeling certain things. But do you feel like you have a drill list? Like this next couple of weeks, these are the things that I'm focusing on, like a workout? Or is it just based on your roles, based on what you feel you need improvement on, and based on what you feel you're getting really good at and you need to sharpen? Do you work that direction or set drill list, that's what I'm doing?
No, I don't have a drill list.
You're just going on what you feel like in your roles and what you're doing well at, and what people are exploiting in the roles, and that's what you work on?
It's kind of like in the middle because I have an idea of what like the trajectory of like my jiu-jitsu, like so like the trajectory of like where I want to go, like how I want to develop.
Sure.
Or like what I'm looking to develop. So like yes, it's like thought out in a sense because like I understand where my weaknesses are, but like there are certain things that I keep in mind and I need to do them for however long I need to do them. Sometimes sometimes you only need to do them for about 2 weeks. Sometimes it takes like 3 months.
Sure.
And like on the fly, I'm adding to or subtracting from that select set of like details. So
nice, man.
I don't have this like set in stone kind of like mentality.
But some people do. Do you know of any people that do? Like you train with some of the best in the world, in Murilo and the Miyao brothers. Do they drill like that, or are you getting this style from them essentially?
Honestly, I really don't.
You don't know, yeah,
because I don't really pay attention to
how they're drilling,
Yeah, or like
what's in their mind of what they're drilling. I understand,
I'm just kind of like...
He doesn't pay attention, he says.
Mojilo.
This sounds like
your
fabrication.
Student doesn't pay attention.
But it's okay, though.
No, it's just like I said before, like everybody has like
their way.
Like some people say like, oh, I have to train twice a day. Like I feel like that's like a status quo as people think is like the bare minimum if you want to be like you're a competitor. Like I don't.
Right.
I kind of feel like it'd be the same thing if I was like looking like, oh, how does he drill or what does he drill?
Right. Yeah. You always hear about that guy that goes in at like 9 to 11. He's doing his drills and all that, and then he breaks and then comes back at 1 to 3 for the strength and conditioning. Then he does he teaches the 5 p.m. class, and then he comes back at 8 o'clock till 10 with the hard rolls, and
that's real.
Yeah.
Like,
that sounds like the Miyao brothers. Out of what I heard,
man,
it's just in and out all day.
That's all they do is train.
Maybe they don't go out; they just stay in and they just do it all day long.
You train.
Let me ask you a quick question about techniques taught in class, right? Because you're still a student. We all are. And you're
eternal students.
And you are also on a mission to win competitions. So at some point when you're a competitor, you can't go out of your realm too much. like as far as drilling new techniques or going crazy with learning all these new techniques, because you got to stay sharp for the next competition, correct? So what are your thoughts on, just because there's a lot of new students out there that they feel like, or new students, when I mean new, I mean white belt, early blue belt, that they haven't figured out the game yet. People go into class, some people feel like, I go into class 5 times a week. My instructor's teaching 5 times a week. They might be teaching a different move each class, or 2 different moves for 5 different classes. Do they have to learn those moves and drill those moves and make it part of their immediate game? Or should we give them the disclaimer like, hey man, you don't have to take every single move taught by your instructor. You have to be able to decipher what is going to immediately be good in your game. Like, don't feel bad if you don't absorb the exact techniques that day, or the exact techniques that your instructor is teaching for those weeks. It's okay to drill your own moves. And what are your thoughts on that, basically? Like, are you taking every single technique that you're getting from, Murilo's class or whoever's class, and you have to drill it, or, what do you feel on that?
Yeah, I think you need to learn.
Not that you don't need to learn it, but you don't have to incorporate it into your drill sequences immediately, like your drill sessions.
Well, when I do the class,
like when you do the class, because you're drilling those techniques during that class, it's okay that you don't take those moves and then bring it into your after class drill sessions.
Man, that just depends on you.
Yeah.
Like I try to learn everything, and
of course,
I try to incorporate as much as I can, like the new techniques that I learn.
Yeah.
Because you kind of never really know what you're gonna use and when you're gonna use it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've noticed, because there's actually at the what was it, AbuDhabi trials.
Yeah.
For instance, I use this sweep that I kind of never really practiced before.
I love when that happens.
Just learn it in class.
I swear I love it.
Yeah, I learned it in class. I didn't really. I actually I learned it, but I didn't really learn it. I just I asked Murilo about we were talking about details of shin to shin, and I just noticed that he does this a lot, and I just kept getting swept by it, and I was just man, this thing is. I just can't stop this technique. Why can't I stop this technique? And
you absorbed it from the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, pretty much. I was man, I can't stop this. And I never really drilled it. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I was drilling. I was man, shin to shin is something that I should add to my game, just in case. If all else fails, I can pop this move out. I can pop this guard out and get off. I call it in my head. I never really express this anyway, but I call it a cheap sweep. You use your shin to shin. You feed the lapel, and you can come up on that cheap single a little bit.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I always that's something I was man, I was that's a nice little something to have in your back pocket.
Yeah.
So I was playing at the New York Open. I pull guard, and this guy was pretty quick to his passing to get into his position, and I got kind of got pinned under him a little bit, and I tried to use my hook. And the hook was there, it was strong, but I couldn't really elevate him, and so I just used this technique that I never really drilled before. But
cheap sweep,
it wasn't even a cheap sweep. It was actually a pretty good sweep. Yeah. And I saw my coach use it, and I was just I never really drilled it, but it happened there, and afterwards, I was watching the replays because I watch all my matches. I try and see the good and the bad, and I was watching that sweep, and I was I didn't even remember. I was I don't remember drilling the sweep ever, but it's important. I think it's important.
Yeah.
At least
that's a great point and a great lesson for anybody who's listening to this. That's again, a newer student, a white belt, a blue belt. You're at the level where you can do that. And people need to, at the early stages, they need to be more open-minded to that. Focus not on what you're trying to do, because you don't have a whole lot of moves in your disposal, but focus on what the higher ranked students are doing to you, the instructors are doing to you. And then I know that helped me out a lot when I was coming up. Even now, when somebody does a really good move to me, I absorb it. And like you said, a lot of times I'm just what? I never drilled that move, and I got it.
And then it appears before your eyes.
Yeah, it's so beautiful when that happens.
I think that I kind of like think it is true because like it's happened to me plenty of times actually, and that's kind of how I fell into like the kind of style that I like to play because like I kind of got put into some positions where like I wasn't really expecting to get put in this position. Like I don't know why. Like maybe like just me, but I always think like, all right, I'm gonna come in here, like I'm like nothing's gonna go wrong. Like I know, like theoretically speaking, you can never go undefeated, but like in my head, I don't know why.
It's just the positive
Maybe
mentality.
this is like maybe this is why I like competition or something like that. But, like I never can envision anything going wrong. Like, I'm just gonna impose my game. Like that's my mentality. Yeah, and then like in like while it's happening, I get like put into like a situation where like my back's against the wall and I just kind of like like now I know like I've connected some things together. Just like I know like if I'm here I gotta do this to get to here. I'm strong here. But like there are some times where like you just kind of like makeshift some things and like on the fly, like you don't even think about it. Your body just responds. Yep. And you're like, oh, this is gonna work here. Yeah, nice. Like I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing it, and it's working. Kind of thing. And I learned from that. I'm like, man, I just need to be a sponge. Sometimes.
Yeah,
like, whenever I'm like training, I'm like, even if I'm sparring, even competition, like, cause like some people never like they don't really like watching competitions. So, like if they compete at a tournament, they don't really want to watch it before. They don't really want to watch it afterwards. Yeah. Or like some will watch before, watch after, but not before. Yeah. Like, I've rarely met people who will watch before and after or before.
Like you're saying live during the tournament, you're on deck, but you're watching the matches.
Or like you're gonna fight an hour, or I'm gonna fight at 12. I'm gonna come at 9 because I want to see everybody. I want to watch. I want to be in the facility. I like doing that. I like watching. Okay. Like I'll compete at a tournament and I'll stay for a little bit to watch my teammates and stuff like that. I like watching jiu-jitsu because like I feel like that's the perfect time to like learn.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
For, like,
nice. So
especially
in competition learning.
Yeah, like I've always felt like this, especially when I'm competing, because like I want to see how guys are getting their cheap pulls or like they're getting. I mean, they're cheap ankle picks. You know, like how they're faking the guys out to like get that ankle pick. That's score to 2. Like what like little deceptive things that you don't pick up in training. Because you're not in that environment, what kind of things can I see, at the competition?
Yeah, just the many expressions of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You see some pretty wild things, and it's like a breeding ground for knowledge. Like it's really good to like absorb.
Because everybody's unlocking everything of their game, and they're implementing in the tournament, and that's the best time to see their best stuff. Exactly. So why not come in early and watch? Like that's a good point.
That's how I think.
Yeah.
So like it just goes back to what you're saying, like in terms
show
of like
the art
instruction. I think it's very important to like be open minded to like what's being taught in the class, even if you don't like it. Just for the class, just put up with it because you never know. Like 2 years from now, you might be like, yo, my instructors like taught me this, but like I really didn't think it was that good.
How many times does that happen to me, Marcos?
All the time.
Sometimes like with our body types at the point in time, like for instance, like I honestly never liked inverting too much. I was like until I started getting like I got to purple belt, and I was like as a blue belt I was like I'll be that guy. I'll never have to invert as a blue belt. Like I'm like even when I get my black belt, I'm gonna be like Shanji Burrow. I'm not gonna invert. Like you don't see Shanji doing any of this like inversion stuff. And not that I didn't like it. I just was like, man, why would I want to
go upside down and put myself in that upside down position? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not too sure I want to do that, but I didn't want to do it because I couldn't do it. I wasn't too flexible at that point in time.
And then like, you rebelled to justify why you're not doing it.
So like then I noticed like there were certain positions that I couldn't get into even from my passing standpoint, and I was like, man, I gotta get more flexible. So like I got more flexible, and then I realized that these positions are not as bad as I thought they were.
Gotcha.
I was just really closed-minded at the time because of limitations that I had I currently had, like like plateaus that I currently had in terms of like my flexibility and my mobility.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, once I broke past those plateaus, and I was like, just dude, like there's not really like a glass ceiling that anymore. I kind of like the room for growth kind of like expanded for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, maybe these positions aren't that bad, and then that opened up a lot more.
Yeah.
Have you ever completed a full berimbolo in tournament or in class?
In tournament, Yeah, I have in tournament, but I just came up to the top. Nice. I kind of came up in like a leg drag position.
Yeah, sweet.
And then I've tried to go to the back and got like foot locked. So like,
but that's considered a berimbolo, right? Yeah, even if you come up for the leg drag.
Leg drag.
Right.
I didn't go to the back, but I went to the leg drag. I don't really like look to do those to like go out there and go, hey, I'm gonna berimbolo. I kind of I don't really
look to do anything.
It's just one of those moves that you'll open up randomly when
if it's in the moment.
If it's in the moment, yeah. One thing I tend to tell the new students a lot, or just all the students, guys, if you're a fan of basketball, or I mean, if you play basketball, you're a fan of basketball, you're going to watch basketball. If you're a fan of jiu-jitsu and you train jiu-jitsu and you want to get good at it, become a fan of the sport. Watch it. Watch the matches. That's the best way to get to expand everything and be able to reach your full potential.
Yeah,
You're limiting yourself by not watching.
Watch the world-class elite people at the highest level and model them. To be successful, you want to model success.
Yeah.
So watch Murilo Santana, watch Bones, watch Yago, watch Leandro Lowe. See what grips they're placing in the matches. See what guards they frequent the most. See what sweeps they're hitting. What are the high percentage moves that these world-class guys are pulling off on other world-class people? World-class guys and girls, excuse me.
Sure.
For sure.
Crazy.
You know, it's pretty funny. People, like, when I was, like a white and blue belt, people always kind of, like, told me, like, you need to, like, watch, like the best of the best. Like, you need to see what they're doing. So, like, that always implies the black belts. Like, everybody was like, all right, what, yeah, pay attention to what the black belts are doing. Yeah. Like, man, I kind of like watching from, like, purple belt.
Yeah, word.
They fight hard, man.
Because, like, I feel like, not just because I'm a purple belt, I never really like watching blue belts. Not that I have anything against blue belts.
Because you beat them all.
I was once a blue belt, too.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like blue belt, like,
they haven't
figured
figured
really
it out.
don't know
yet.
what's going on.
Yeah, you haven't figured it out.
You have like a handful of techniques for the most part, and like you're gonna do whatever you can to get to those techniques.
Yeah.
And like if you get caught out of that, you know, like system, if you will, like you have a hard time kind of day.
Purple belts have
like
some resolution for sure.
Purple belts
in their
like
arsenal.
You start figuring out what you like to do, and you like you learn how to make your game a little, like, I guess you would call it cyclical.
Definitely.
You know, it becomes like
like
it
that
comes
word.
like full circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right.
And so it's fun to watch, and it's more fun to watch for me than the black belts and the brown belts because they're more open. Like at purple belt, we still have the like blue belt mentality, and it's like I want that sub, like I'm gonna get this. Like, if I see it, like if the elbow's open, like you'll still jump for that rolling Kimura, like really crazy.
So they're more
like,
daring.
Yeah, they're more daring. They're more willing to like risk
it all. Yeah,
you know, like a black belt might not risk that rolling Kimura because he sees it like a really good SD block or something coming. You know, like, all right, I'm gonna let that elbow go.
Or if he ends up on bottom, he's lost 2 points.
You know, like the strategy comes into play. Like I might not be able to sweep this guy if I end up on bottom.
Right.
You know, he's up 2 points. You know, I'm down. Like it might be too much to overcome because 2 points at black belt is like 4 points at like brown belt. 6 points at like purple belt. You know, it's like it's really hard to overcome points. You know, at black belt. And one thing I've noticed is like the advantage is huge too. You know, you give up an advantage is a big thing. Yeah. So like purple belts are a lot more daring, in my opinion, to like risk some scrambles, to risk, you know, instead of going for the back and getting the forward. I'm gonna take the armbar. I actually watched that pants. One of the guys from my division actually had I think it's like the lettuce sweep or something like that. He ended up in mount, but instead of going for the armbar, for the mount, he went for the armbar. He ended up losing actually because he attacked the armbar. Yeah, he lost by 2 points. Sure. If he would have mounted, got the 4, and then attacked the armbar, he would have gotten 4 points. Maybe wouldn't have got the armbar, but he would have been up.
Yeah. See, what sucks, man, is that, you know, he made a noble attempt at a submission. A
valiant effort, you know.
A valiant effort. Submission is the finalization of the match, but unfortunately, we don't get rewarded for those points.
Sure. Sometimes.
So what's up? What's up, IBJJF?
Yeah. Well, a good point about that is one of your coaches, Murilo, at the Pan Ams. He fought Mateus.
Such a monster.
Diniz, and that's actually, that situation happened to him. I forget what sweep he went for on Mateus, and instead of fighting to get the sweep, he went for that armbar. Yeah, and it was like beautiful because he almost had it, but he didn't get the sweep out of it. Mateus was able to scramble out, defend well, and get his arm out and get back up, and they wound up in close guard. Now he got an advantage for that, and I think he was up because of that, right? But it was, I like that, man.
But you know something?
I love that. He wound up submitting him anyway, but I love that.
You know something? I think
me too.
I think that at black belt, like he at that point in time, he's probably taking it because like a black belt taking into consideration is 0-0.
Okay, that's the risk I'll take right now.
I can take that risk, be up by an advantage.
Right.
You know, if I don't get the sub, if I like bottom, I'll stay on the bottom. If I don't get the sub, do everything I can to stay on top, and I can still get 2 points. Yeah. they're kind of thinking that. So I'll be up an
Sure.
advantage and 2 points.
Yeah.
But as a purple belt, like I can't speak for him, but he was probably like, all right, I got him up. There's a minute 30 left. Let me get this up.
Yeah.
And it looks good, but like if like a black belt's down 2-0, he might say, "Let me get these points."
Yeah.
And then
That's where the
get a
strategy
tight,
comes in.
Yeah. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? That's the point I'm making. But I love you gotta love it when black belts have like a very open style of like game, and like they're gonna try and like go for the finish.
Yeah.
So
Bernardo.
yeah, Bernardo
Just
finishes
dives
everything.
in, man.
Yeah,
No
he
matter
goes
where he lands.
for sure.
So, for those who need help with drilling,
Mhm.
can you give somebody a basic drill plan? Like we were getting at before, but we went off on a tangent. But like you said, you drill before class. How do you drill before class? What kind of drills do you do in class? And then do you stay after class for other drills? So,
Okay.
and you don't have to divulge too much and give out the secret pass codes or anything like
You
that.
can just
Yeah.
tell us afterwards.
Yeah. All right. So I won't disclose how I per se drill,
Darn
but
it.
I will say that I don't use kind of like, I mean, there's many different ways to drill, and I think it's important to figure out what way of drilling is important to you.
Mhm.
Some people can focus for only a certain amount of reps. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Like if you put a timer on and you're like, all right, drill for 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next person goes for 3 minutes.
Mhm.
Like after like a minute, they might be like a space cadet.
Sure.
They might forget about like pressure, hooks, positioning
Yeah.
and whatnot.
And they just get lost in
Yeah,
the
they
time.
just get lost. They just start doing it just to do it.
Yeah.
Some people might say, all right, I got 10 reps. I'm gonna go perfect technique. I'm gonna try and make my first rep is gonna be perfect. I'm gonna make the second rep more perfect than the first rep,
Mm-hmm.
and so forth and so on. And that might be a better frame because it's shorter.
Gotcha.
The volume is
Yeah.
shorter. Some guys might be very, very focused, and like they could put on like for like long rounds of
Yeah.
like
Like 5 or
drilling,
10 minutes. Yeah.
5 or 10 minutes or something like that. So I think it's important for everyone to find their own their own niche, because for
Yeah.
my students, I kind of like switch it up. For example,
Okay.
so like sometimes we'll go by reps, or
Mhm.
like to start off the class we'll go by reps. Like sometimes we'll go by time for speed drills and stuff like that. So because like when you're speed drilling, you really don't have the time to sit down and count reps. So like,
Yeah.
it just depends on what kind of drilling you're doing. And
So, maybe a little sample plan for people that just need help, like the white belts or the beginners that are still lost in drills. So they have drilling for reps and drilling for time, right? That's
Drilling
basically
for
what you could say. And what would you recommend for people who are drilling for reps? What should they do? Should they just do 10 and then their partner goes, or should they achieve 20, or should they do it in a set pattern, like 3 or 4 sets of 10? Like what would you recommend to someone who's just really a blue belt, just trying to really get into drilling and sharpen their game? Should they do it in a set pattern? Do 5 sets of 10? Or should they be doing 10 sets of 10?
I think I don't know. I have like this. It's really hard to answer those questions because like I personally think that it really just depends on the person. Like for example, like all right, I'll just tell you what I give my students. For example,
Okay.
like sometimes like if we're getting ready for training and like I see that their attention span is like they really waning, wavering.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, all right, so like they're really not counting reps, so I'll like set a timer on and I'll give them like, like 2 minutes by 2 seconds.
Okay.
So like, it's like, a couple of sets. So that way they don't really have to think about how many reps they're doing. All that attention can be focused on
I'm learning.
just like applying the technique.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the person. Like there's no really set way
Yeah.
to do things.
It's
I
just
think
whatever's best for you.
exactly. I think it's really hard to like kind of like tell people like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my philosophy. I don't like
Yeah.
being.
Well, I think that does give resolution to people. Like, hey, because everybody's looking for the best plan, the best diet plan. What's the best workout plan? What's the best drill plan? At the end of the day, people, it just depends on you.
It's subjective to you.
You really have to try everything. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
That's
And,
even better to say. Yeah.
Like,
Let me
just
ask you-
try everything.
Let me
and-
ask you this: where do you, Where do you see yourself growing quicker? Your progression going faster? Is it with drilling moves, for however you like to drill, or is it in the positional sparring, starting in half guard, fighting out of there, and then repeat, or positional sparring or drilling, or both? Obviously both, but is there any one that you would attribute to just developing?
Positional sparring or drilling?
Yeah, or both.
I don't really do positional sparring because
you guys wind up just rolling.
Like, this is just me personally.
Okay.
Like, I do it only if there's really something that I'm really missing, and like I need to like say like, all right, there's something about this position that I really don't get. So like, put me in this position and let's try and like, figure this out.
Sure.
Like, sometimes I'll even ask my partner. I think that's something that people don't really do that they really should do, is like ask your teammates or like whoever you're drilling with for like some like constructive criticism. Like, hey, like help me out. Like, why are you getting so deep into this position?
Why do I suck here?
Yeah, sometimes it just really is the case.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
why do you keep taking my back? Help me.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Because not everybody is going to divulge that information.
No.
They're just rolling. They're not thinking about what you're looking at.
Exactly.
Like, oh, I got a position on
They're
you.
focused on their own goals.
Yeah.
But if you say like, why do you beat me to this position so much? Then they can be like, hey,
yeah.
It's because I shoot my arm in before you get the underhook.
You're just a second late with that underhook prevention.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Boom.
Stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah. So that's a good point. Again, we want to use this to help people. Like, hey guys, somebody like Devante Bones that is doing very well in competition. These are the types of things that he thinks about, and these are the type of things that work. ... for him.
Yeah.
But it can work another way. But don't be afraid to ask your training partners and leave the ego outside the gym.
Yeah, that's really important.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna. Sometimes it's such a cliche, but like sometimes people say sometimes you're the nail and sometimes you're the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's kind of like really a fabrication of the truth, because like a lot of times you're the nail and you just got to be okay with getting hammered until you get it right.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. And
you always have some techniques. The techniques are the nails or the hammers. You're personally not. Like, some techniques for you are hammering people, and some techniques are still nails, and you just need to, or positions that just need to correct.
Science.
It's perfect, because sometimes you need to allow yourself to be malleable.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
I like
So that way,
It does make
like,
sense, my
because
man.
it's really true, because sometimes, like, if your guard isn't that great and you say, hey, I'm going to make my passing so great that I can never get put on my back, that's one way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
But what happens when you meet that guy who's like an All-American wrestler and you've only been doing jiu-jitsu for 2 years?
Yeah.
And although he's an All-American wrestler, he's still just a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, because the instructor can't give him a purple belt, no matter how good his takedowns are, no matter how good his top game is, because his jiu-jitsu is only at a blue belt. You're going to be in trouble.
Yeah,
I've met those guys, and like, you need to, like,
In trouble.
all right, you need to be able to sweep off your back too.
Yeah.
These things are important, and those people will develop that mindset if they're not malleable, because they'll say like, I don't want to be put on my back. I don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the judgment comes from yourself more than like anyone else. You just kind of have to like let that
go.
aspect of like your persona just be released and be like, all right, look, I'm gonna just take this for what it is
and get better at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna be beat up for the next 6 months, so to speak, but like,
It'll pay off.
after that 7th month, like, I'll see the rewards. And sometimes it may take longer.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
One thing, that helped me out a lot, again, a couple years ago, one thing that Marcos told me, and he was telling the class, hey, guys, listen, you're going to have white belt techniques, you're going to have blue belt techniques, you're going to have purple belt techniques. I might be a brown belt, but I have a white belt, X guard. But I still
That's false.
But you know what I'm saying? It's
You got a blue belt X guard, man. Come on.
Thanks, man. But I feel like that helped put the entire game and my entire game into perspective for me. Like, hey, yeah, okay, my De La Riva guard is at a brown belt level, perfect. But my reverse De La Riva needs work. It's at a blue belt level. Let me make it a little better. Let me put some extra time in, and then now I can gauge it based on those kinds of levels.
And you know who taught me that?
Who?
Shout out and RIP to the late great Mike Merkulik. He dropped that gem on me.
Awesome,
and
man.
one day.
Yeah.
I was astounded.
Wow.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Well, thank you for the gem.
Thank you, sir.
But I feel like that helped me a lot. And I don't know if anybody else caught that in class, but
Of course they did. It was a great.
I don't know if anybody else is as good of a student as I am, but
Here we go.
yeah, but that helped me out a lot. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
It does.
You know, like sometimes you just have a white belt guillotine. That's okay. Let's make it a blue belt guillotine. Then it becomes a purple belt guillotine. The jump might be quicker than others because you're a higher rank, but like maybe that's a way to put your game into perspective and help you get better at certain things.
I agree because I agree with what you're saying, and I think it's also important to remember to, like, just because you're De La Riva, you know, per se, because that's what you were speaking about.
Yo, why you talking about my De La Riva like that?
Yeah, like let's say you're De La Riva's a
Why you
brown
talking
belt.
it all smooth too? You got that smooth tone going on. What's up? We ain't on a date, son. Yo, it's two of us, kid.
Ah, man, you're killing me.
Got him.
Yeah, about the techniques, about the
Actually forget.
about the perspective of white belt techniques.
Oh
and
yeah.
blah.
So like like if your De La Riva is a brown belt
Mhm.
and like your guillotine is like a white belt,
Yeah.
and you're focusing really hard on making that guillotine like a purple belt.
Yeah.
It's important to not let that De La Riva fall below the
Mm.
level of like a brown belt. You know,
Definitely.
you still have to be attentive
Yeah.
to
Right.
Because it
the
can.
other details. Yeah, it really
it
can.
can, yeah.
Because
Right.
it's standard. I told my friend this because like I have friends. They'll be like, oh, you know, you're competing, you're winning now, blah blah blah. Like, all right, I'm gonna get back into jiu-jitsu because like whatever. When they started, like they were at a higher rank or like
Mhm.
they were. When I started, I mean, they were at a higher rank or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they were you know beating me up or accusing me. And they're like, all right, well, you're doing this now. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna come back. All right, we're gonna train together. I'm like, all right, cool. But like they come back and they're like, dude. You know what? I used to be good. I used to be good at this. I used to have
Yeah.
this. Like this is not. You know, this is not correlating, or whatever the case may be. And I'm just like the standard, the status quo or the standard
Uh-huh.
changes.
Yeah.
You know, the level changes. The level for average or like okay or
Mhm.
like how good something is changes.
Sure.
You know, it might have been great 3 weeks ago. It's really short. Like you take a month off from training. Like man, forget taking a month off. You take 3 days away from training.
Yeah.
And like
You lose some
your-
sharpness.
your teammates are getting better. You
Mm.
know, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So like you know, it's very superficial for you to believe that like
You're gonna stay as good as something.
if you drill something and at the moment in time it's really good, it's really sharp, it's really crisp, and then you neglect it for like a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
that it's gonna stay.
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
gonna maintain that same level of efficiency.
Story of my life, man.
Yeah, you really have to dedicate.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say consistency is key.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Boom.
And if you're drilling some new stuff, every now and then incorporate some of that old stuff, like touch
For
on it.
sure.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
doesn't get forgotten. That's really important because some people think, I got really good at something. That's the standard now. It's not gonna get worse. It's just
Mhm.
gonna only get better. But it's not. If
Man,
you,
you know when
yeah.
you really realize stuff like that, if you teach kids, and like you realize like you know how like I don't know about you guys, but like
Mhm.
sometimes like some professors, some coaches like use a curriculum,
Okay.
and like they'll be like, for this month I'm only doing passing.
Yeah.
For this, these 3 weeks or these 2 weeks or this week I'm only doing back escapes or something like that.
Yeah.
So like the whole class will be
Based around those
based
things.
around back it takes, even from the warm ups and now.
Do you think
And-
that could hurt?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So then you tell like a kid to do an arm bar like a month later, and
They forgot.
he can do it in training.
Yeah.
But like, have you ever? I mean, you guys are instructors.
Uh-huh.
Like, have you ever like found this like conundrum where like, the guy can do it in sparring,
Oh my
Yeah,
But
god.
all day
if he
long,
drills
man.
it, like
Yeah.
something just isn't right.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, and then like,
How about this one? I'll do you one better.
Oh.
The kid does, or the student, not a kid. I'm not picking
Yeah.
on kids, but the
But it
kid.
is the kid you're talking about.
No, it's adults too. Just students in
Anyone.
general. Anyone.
Anyone.
It's usually the lower level students. But like, hey, Kevin, can you show me an arm bar? Right? Or Steve, or John, or whatever. he
Or
thinks-
Malcolm.
Yeah. Or
Mhm.
or Malcolm, or Jenny.
Marcellus.
Yeah. And you say, hey, show me an arm bar, and they're like, what? What's an arm bar? Like they don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
But they do it in roles
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
Pull it off every damn
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
And then you show them it, and they're like,
Oh yeah, that.
oh yeah, that. And then they try to reenact it, but they still just don't know the steps.
Yeah.
But when they're grappling and the kid puts them in that position, it clicks.
Mhm.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
like,
Word.
but that shows like you stop drilling, you stop practicing it. Maybe because like you said, the instructors are showing something else for too long a period of time. Damn. Yeah. So what does if you can divulge this information, how does Murilo operate? Does he do just a different technique every couple of days, or is it a different technique every class, or does he have like a theme for the month or for the week? Or
I want to say that Murilo is a phenomenal instructor. Very detail orientated. Everything is accounted for. Every movement, every adjustment, every grip. It's a nice piece of work. But yeah, proceed.
Okay, so I will say this. If you want to know this information, then you must come train at Unity Jiu-Jitsu in New York City.
I like
But
that.
I will say this. One of the reasons I love learning from my instructor, from Murilo, is because of, like he said, like you just said, his attention to detail, and the fact that no matter what you're learning in class that day, like the class itself is structured in a way where like everything kind of like comes together. So like you're working on, like you're focusing on, the class might focus on a certain specific detail or technique, but like you're also working on other skills. Sometimes you don't even realize the skills that you're working on by the way he structures the class. You know, it's really amazing.
Interesting.
He's like Obi-Wan Kenobi, or like Yoda, you know, something. So it's like I'm like a huge Star Wars fan. So like sometimes like when I'm like sitting in class, I kind of like think like I'm like Obi-Wan learning from Yoda or something.
Yeah.
Like that, you know, kind of deal. Or Anakin's kind of cooler. So like I was like Anakin learning from like Obi-Wan or something. He's like he's
Dark
really,
Vader. This guy has the highest melanin count. Word up.
But yeah, you know, sometimes like the way like he just says things and it just makes it just, you just get it, you know, you just get it. He does a really good job of, you know,
connecting
with his students. So to answer your question, very rarely will you ever feel like, you know, like whatever you're learning, very rarely will you ever feel like you're like
closer to the
like stuck on something.
Or like you're stuck on something. He does a really good job of making sure that, you know, you know, everything comes full circle.
Okay, that's awesome.
So I think that's good enough to answer your question.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, Marcos.
No,
you had a question?
I got a few. We have to wrap this up shortly, but I'll try to make these really, really quick, and they might be a little random. I was just curious. You compete a lot. Do you have fun competing? Like, are you excited to compete? Are you nerve-wracked?
Okay.
And what is your mindset? Do you want to go in there and just dominate and win? Or are you trying to, like, really show off your game? You're trying to show off those techniques you've been working. You want to shine. You want to impress us.
Here's me and I have, like, this weird relationship with competition because, like, competition to me is kind of like a performance, so to speak.
Okay.
So, like, when I go and compete, like, it's a break from kind of like training.
Yeah.
Because training is so hard that, like, you know, like competition is the one day where, like, you know, I won't, you know, like it's okay for me to miss this day of training the day before. You know, I don't even miss the day before training most of the time. Most of the time, I'm like, I'll drill, I'll do something because I don't like to not train. But like, it's okay for me mentally to not, you know,
like worry so much while you're
there.
Okay.
You know, I'm just like, all right, like if I don't train, like I didn't train today, for example.
Okay.
I didn't train yesterday.
Ooh.
I haven't trained. You know, so
I'm
like,
telling you, wow.
so like I haven't been training, but I had an injury that I've been like nursing. Okay. So I haven't been able to spar and stuff like that, and I'm just like, man, like it feels like it weighs on my mind. But like when it's like competition day, the day before, it's like I can only drill. Like I've been drilling still. I still drill I still get my drilling sessions in, but I'm just like, this, like, it's not the complete unit of training, and so I'm like, man, like I cannot wait till I can just like really go back and like really focus. But like the day before training, I'm in competition, it's just like, all right, I don't really have to like, you know, go all out. Just focus on my details, my techniques.
That's so
make sure that my you know, it's like kind of like a little R&R day, and then like the
weight
competition,
off the shoulders.
Exactly. And then like the competition is like, you know, kind of like, you know, like my vacation. But like I'm just like, so like when I go out there, like I'm really like actually the bigger the tournament, the more fun it is because the atmosphere is different.
You like the people in the studs and the fresh mats and, you know, the smells and
the guy who's like, you know that everybody's really good.
Yeah.
And you know it's gonna be tough. Like I enjoy like the atmosphere, like
Nice,
even
man.
like the vibe, like even if like
Yeah, it's
you know
different.
you're fighting guys and like you're in the finals or something like that. Like I was in the finals of the Pans, and like I could see like the guy who I was fighting was from Checkmat, and like Lucas Lech, Leo Vieira, Rico Vieira,
Ooh.
you know,
Yeah.
Thiago Sa, and all these like really big name guys. And,
Talking to
like,
your opponent.
yeah, you know, they're talking to him, they're coaching him up, and he's ready, he's focused, he's calm, he's cool, collected, and then you got all the like the fellow Checkmat students there, and like everybody's like there cheering, but you also have your guys, you know, and it's like it's
You have your
really
super
nice.
team.
Exactly, it's like really nice to feel that environment. I just like really like enjoying. I just really focus on enjoying the moment of competition.
Yeah.
Because it is a privilege.
Mm.
You know, competing is a privilege.
Yeah.
It's not an obligation.
Oh, yeah.
You're not there because you're forced to be there.
Sure.
Like you sign up your name, and, you know, even if you have sponsors, you know, you tell your sponsors to sign you up or something like that.
Yeah.
And so you're there because you like
Because of you.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
chose to come, so you enjoy the moment. Like
Mm.
I really like to enjoy the moment.
Nice,
I feel
man.
like a lot of people focus on like this is the end all be all. If I don't win this,
Yeah.
you know, what will my friends think? Or if
Yeah.
I don't win this, you know, I'm letting my team down.
Nah, enjoy it. That's a day to
And
express yourself.
Yeah, that's like right there.
Be
It's
an
like
artist.
this is like if you're a full-time competitor in your training, that's the moment. Like that's like the tournament is like the one time where like you get to experience like, you know, like the just like the beauty of like like what you're striving to achieve.
Nice,
like this
man.
is the moment. Like I gotta enjoy this moment. That's how I think, at least.
Nice.
Like I want to enjoy this moment, like every aspect of it. You know, losing sucks sometimes, but like I really try to enjoy competing. I don't try and like really force myself mentally to focus on like whoever I'm fighting in their games. Because like right now at Purple, you kind of know the guys who compete all the time. You know, especially in your division, you see them like at every
all
big
the time.
tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. You see them at even the guys who are overseas. You see them at like the bigger tournaments. So you know these guys. And like you know their game, but I really don't focus on those things. I really just try to enjoy the moment, come with an open mind, and just like I rarely really think about what if I'm even gonna play top or bottom.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, make a grip, feel like at that once I make the grip, I know what I'm gonna do.
Nice.
And it's just like the only objective is to score first and then finish. You know,
Gotcha.
you know sometimes you don't always finish. That's what I've noticed coming up from blue to purple is that your finish rate, you know, sometimes drops a little bit.
Yeah.
Or if you're, you know, some people it doesn't drop, but for me it dropped a little bit. But like I still finish a good amount of my fights. But that's the goal for me. Even though I don't get it in the 6 minutes, I'm trying to finish.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to execute in a sharp
Nice, man.
manner. I'm just not just trying to
So
like
you are showing the art.
yeah, you know, I'm just not trying to go in there and like throw a flying triangle just because of the submission. Like some people say, oh, submission only, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm like, listen, like in order to execute a submission, you have to have, you know, proper execution of the technique first, leading up the positional aspect of it.
You have to
can't-
make the openings too.
Exactly.
You can't just
just like
All
you know jump on a
technique.
heel hook.
yeah.
You know,
So that brings me to a good question. You don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but how do you feel about these about like the sub only tournaments and the
Hold on.
Mm.
Before we go to that question.
okay.
Before we go to that question,
Man,
since
no.
we're on competition,
Go
that's
ahead.
a competition related question. I just want real quick if you can answer. You've won a lot more than you lost.
I wouldn't say that, but okay.
Come on, dog. Just check the ratings. Check the transcripts. No. Are you learning from these wins? Like they say, we learn more
Yes.
from our losses. But are you're reflecting on these matches and you're
Absolutely.
learning from your wins as well?
Because you're there. I mean, you might win sometimes, but there are still some things that you might have done wrong.
Okay.
You know, if you are in a match and it's like 8-2, or I mean 6-8, or like whatever the score is, and like you know, like for instance, the finals that I fought at Pans, it was a 2-2. It was a 2-2 match, you know, and then I got the submission like within the last like you know minute and a half left in the match.
Yeah.
There's some things that could have been worked on.
Yeah.
Because
You
you
know.
got points scored on you.
Yeah, because I got points scored on me.
Mm.
You know, granted, the 2 points that he scored was off like what I think was a pretty bad call because I don't think the guy touched my legs. I actually like I faked the pull to like see what he would do, and like he fell for like the shot.
Yeah.
Then I pulled guard and he like fell into my guard,
Okay.
and the ref still gave him 2, but from the ref's perspective,
It
that
looked
was
like it.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's something that I need to perfect. I need to
Mhm.
make sure that my guard pulling is more effective, so that I don't
Yeah.
put myself in a position
Sure.
to even like have him come close to touching my
Yeah.
legs. You know, like
Perfect.
I'm
Nice, man.
executing my position, you know.
Yeah.
And there was a match where like there's been matches where I was up like 8-0, but I didn't finish the submission. Like I'm on the back or in the mount. Like I need to like
Yeah.
what was that? What was wrong with my entries or my setups
Sure.
in that match? That
How am I
was-
dominating but not getting the submission, the
Yeah,
ultimate
like
finish?
There's some things that can be worked on.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe I was just tired and I didn't want. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes that happens too. But there's always something to be worked on,
Sure.
in my opinion. That's why I like watching all my matches over and like studying like what I'm doing, because I feel like there's always something to be worked on. I feel like you learn just as much from competition as you do from instruction.
Nice, man. Yeah, like there was a tournament last year. I think it was like the Worlds or the Pans, and Lowe scored like 30 something points on a dude. Right? It was like a really high score to like 0 or to 2.
I just watched a match last night. Yago won 58-0 on one dude.
So like that's amazing, but why didn't he submit the guy? Why didn't he finish the guy? Like, but I'm not knocking anybody that does that, but that's something they could work on. You dominated, but hey, there's a lot to improve on because we didn't get the submission. We did everything else, but not the submission. So how can we improve on getting that submission, right? So that's what you're trying to get at.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think everyone would like to finish their matches.
Of course.
Because it means a shorter match. You're out there for you're out there, you get more time to rest for your next match or whatever the case may be. That's how I think about it. If I finish, I can go rest. I get like 5 more minutes, to rest for my next match kind of deal. Right. Not that you're tired, but it's nice to have if you fight like 5 wars and you go into the finals and this guy's sub like 4 of his 5,
he has an advantage.
Yeah, he's gonna be rested. He's gonna be well rested. You're at a disadvantage kind of thing. That's how I think about it. Yeah. So it doesn't always behoove you to have these wars. It behooves you to submit from time to time. Definitely. So if you want to look at strictly a strategic standpoint, that's like a strategic reason why I like to work for the finishes, but also just from like a prototypical technical standpoint, like I want to there's still stuff to work on if you don't acquire the submission. To me, at least, that's just me.
Oh, awesome, man.
Great mentality.
My question was, how do you feel about all these new like EBI type tournaments, these submission only tournaments where everything's legal, and you're getting a lot of guys that are like nogi only type dudes that are really heavy into leg locks now, and I thought of this the other day. Like a couple years ago, we had the butt scooting dilemma where everybody was pulling double guard pulls, and everybody was sitting on their butt and trying to get the bambolo and whatever. And then it kind of went away a little bit, and now the sub only nogi guys, not all of them. Again, it's just what I've seen. They're doing the same thing. They're both sitting down, but they're working for leg locks. But they're both sitting down on their butts going for leg locks. It's like the same exact dilemma we have, but for some reason, that is not getting a knock like the double guard puller guys were getting. You know what I'm saying? That's just one thing I noticed. But how do you feel about these tournaments? How do you feel about these no-gi only guys that are like knocking gi guys for playing a different style because they're in a different tournament, and how they feel that the submission onlys are better? What do you think about those types of tournaments and those types of people? Coming from someone who does do both. You do nogi pans and you do the regular pans. Like,
that's like
that was 7 questions in one.
No, yeah, that's one thing too. I was like trying to remember everything he asked me. He almost went on a tangent there, but
sorry.
All right, first. Honestly, I don't really man, this is gonna sound really bad. Maybe I'm like not really getting interview material for this.
All
but
good.
Like I don't really care. If that makes any sense.
That's cool.
That makes perfect sense, honestly.
Like because it doesn't really matter to me.
Best answer.
Because I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I just don't really care. But I do have somewhat of a viewpoint. I think it's important for people to train both.
Okay.
I think because take it from a guy, like honestly, I didn't really like nogi. Sometimes I wonder if I even like nogi. Because I only did nogi because those were the tournaments like towards after Worlds. After like October, after like July,
the fourth quarter is like
all the last couple, like half the year is like literally dedicated to no-gi. Even by the IBJJF,
right?
Like they have their no-gi tournaments. You get like no-gi, or like all these no-gi. I don't even know the names of them, but like you see all these no-gi tournaments in all these other countries, and then you have like NOGI Pans in New York, NOGI Worlds.
Yep.
And California, and now even during the gi semester, quote unquote, you see nogi tournaments because they're gonna have a New York Gi and Nogi Open
Sure.
by AbuDhabi.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So like you see, like there's a lot of tournaments that are Nogi,
Mm-hmm.
and in the later portion of the year, there's not that many tournaments that are Gi, and so like you kind of have to conform to training in the Gi unless you're gonna sit around and not really do any good high level competition. You know, for me personally, it's just jiu-jitsu.
Okay. Gi, Nogi,
like
it's
gi and
jiu-jitsu.
Nogi, it's just jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I prefer having the gi on,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't mind competing Nogi either.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like Murilo kind of like training with like at Unity the last year
Mm-hmm.
or last year kind of like really changed my viewpoint on it because I hate it. It goes back to what we're talking about placing limits on yourself subconsciously.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't speaking like, I don't know if we spoke about it subconsciously, but like that's how I view it a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, because like subconsciously I had placed a limit on myself,
Okay.
limiters on myself, because I didn't really like Nogi, so I didn't really want to train Nogi.
Yeah.
And like even when I like did NOGI World and like NOGI Pan at Blue Belt, I didn't really train Nogi. You know what I did? I just went to like a wrestling school,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a month before the tournament. Came in twice a week. I trained jiu-jitsu around it. Like I was like training Nogi like maybe once or twice a week outside of the wrestling classes. I was mainly training in the gi. And I just took what little details I learned from wrestling. I picked up 2 takedowns and I was like, all right, I like these 2. We're gonna drill the heck out of these 2 until NOGI Worlds. And I did it through NOGI Pans. I wasn't even actually gonna do NOGI Worlds at Blue Belt, but I would double gold at NOGI Pans Guy Talk from VHDS was like, dude, do NOGI Worlds. And you know, one of my friends, you know, was like, do NOGI Worlds. You know, and I was just like,
Nice.
I don't wanna. And they're like, listen, do NOGI Worlds. So I did it, and you know, I ended up winning.
Nice.
You know, so like I really never gave much time and consideration to the Nogi aspect of the game. Then at Unity a lot over the summer, I was actually surprised because I thought we were just gonna keep training gi.
Yeah.
But then a lot of guys started training no gi because a lot of guys like no gi.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this heel hook game, this knee bar game, like this stuff sucks. And because like I would just get like I had no knowledge of like, the leg lock game.
Yeah.
And honestly, after like maybe about 3 weeks of training no gi, I would like train half the gi no gi and like other half gi.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just train all the no gi after a while. Like once I got like really into like the rhythm, and I realized I was like, all right, maybe no gi isn't so bad because like I started learning like the defenses to heel hooks.
Yeah.
I started learning the entries into heel hooks. I started learning the entries into the leg locks, toe holds, how to defend these various positions. And then after a while, like I kind of like the idea that I could foot lock, I could knee bar and toe hold and heel hook. And
once you gain the knowledge, the education, it's not as scary.
Yeah, it's not. It is pretty like maybe for me, there's a real aspect to like understanding that you don't play with these positions.
Yeah.
As you're applying them and as you're having them applied on you, either if someone grabs your heel, address it right away.
Yeah.
If someone enters for the knee bar, adjust it right away.
Sure.
You know, you might see very flexible guys like Gary Tonin, Eddie Cunnings, and like all these other no-gi guys who can like have heel hooks put on them and they don't have to tap.
Yeah.
They don't really care.
Yeah.
And they're probably their dexterity is probably better suited for them.
Okay.
You know, they might be a little bit more gifted in terms of like flexibility and dexterity. And they're like might be able to bend in that position without it really hurting them, and they can respond to it later in the game that you
makes
can.
Sense.
But if you don't have that kind of advantage, you have to address that right away because if you don't tap, it will snap.
Yeah. Dude,
you know,
Miyao.
Miyao,
he got toe hold at twisted 720 degrees, bro.
You know, those guys don't tap.
But it's just like you said, it's just some people can wait a little longer on those types of moves. Others can't. I think, too, the more you drill it with your partner, they're drilling it on you. The more you're being taught in class, you're getting more flexible just from people drilling it on you. So when you don't drill it often, even if you're rolling with people that are giving you the chance to defend and learning the defenses and you know, learning in that way.
It's kind of like crawling before you start walking.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, so I think... So then I realized, like, oh, I do like jiu-jitsu. I mean, I do like
Nogi
Nogi
jiu-jitsu,
Nogi
yeah.
jiu-jitsu with the foot locks and all that stuff.
Because it is jujitsu.
You
It's
know,
all
yeah,
jujitsu at
it's
the
just
end of the
jiu-jitsu.
day.
So I do like it,
Mhm.
you know, and I started competing. I started doing like ADCC style tournaments. And at first, you know, I was having a tough time. I was getting heel hooked like a ton. But I did. It's like, you know, it's like it goes like back to what I was saying before. You have to be malleable to
Yeah.
a certain extent,
Right.
even if it's on the competition scene. You got to be okay with kind of looking stupid,
Yeah.
so you can grow. You know, and I took a couple lumps, but, you know, I ended up, you know, I went after a while of like after like 2 months, I went and did Metamorph Challenger. You know, I made it to, like, I became a finalist. I didn't make it all the way, but, you know, I did a pretty good job for
Nice.
someone who like had just. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything.
No,
like that.
no,
I'm
no.
just saying.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're
Just
just
trying to like
speaking
prove a
facts.
point. Yeah. I did like what I thought was a pretty decent job for someone who had just started training footlocks.
Okay.
You know, and because it is a really different game when you add footlocks.
Mm.
Oh,
into
yeah.
it, you know, there's a lot more
Hell yeah.
details that you have to be cognizant of.
Sure.
So like, then I realized like, all right, this isn't so bad. But it's really hard when like I don't really like to see like people like try and say like one is better than the other. Submission is
Yeah.
better. Submission only is better than, you know,
And
point system, because I think the point with the point system lacks in emphasizing for submissions only. I think the submissions lack in emphasizing what the point system
Yeah.
emphasizes.
They
and
both
that
have their
being
holes.
position,
Yeah.
and strategy, and understanding that you
Mm.
need to dominate the position leading up to the submission. I think that's the best
Yeah.
philosophy. Like I
Sure.
once heard, I was
Sure.
once told that, and I think that's the best thing.
Okay.
That that's the best. That's the mindset that anyone should have. Like, you know, I'm just a Pro Bowl, but like that's how I feel. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
like
I
you want
feel
that mount.
like
You want those
need,
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like don't let a guy pass your guard and try and work out of it to get some like some nifty Kimura.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
so like, or like some nifty footlock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stay in good position and work your way towards submission.
Sure.
And I think like a happy medium. So basically, what I'm trying to say, I think like a happy medium between the two is good,
Okay.
because there are things that you learn that are positive from submission only, and there are things that are positive from point jiu-jitsu, because
Just
you-
like there's positives, things that you learn only from doing nogi, and things
Yeah.
that you only learn from doing gi.
Exactly.
Same thing, right?
I wouldn't say that there's only things that
Well,
there are details that have to change only for the no-gi that you won't use in the gi.
but my
yes.
point is, there's no gi chokes in
Yeah.
nogi.
Mhm.
So those guys are missing out those types of reactions and those types
Absolutely.
of, like, it's like if you've never seen something before, you're going to be a little lost. But the
sure.
second somebody, you train with it a little bit, now even just knowing it for a little bit makes a big ass difference.
Absolutely.
So like that's why, but you could go back into your point, but
Well, pretty much the point
Yeah.
that I was going to try and make is that I think that you know, just like you said before, great gi guys go into like no-gi tournaments and they get like
Kill it.
heel hooked.
Oh, they get
You
hit
know,
with-
no, that just talk about what he was saying. They get
Yeah.
heel hooked, or whatever case may be, like these sub only guys.
mm-hmm.
But I think the best example of where like those guys get to play under a unified kind of rules like the ADCC,
yeah,
and like a lot of the gi guys
are
were winning the ADCC.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
You know, and the
Right.
gi guys, these guys were guys who do both.
yeah, and that's what I was about to say. They're not gi guys.
Mhm.
They do both.
But
Yeah.
they are perceived as
As gi
gi guys
guys.
because really the only no-gi tournaments they do
Are the big
are
ADCC
the
ones.
ADCCs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the ADCC.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's
yeah.
nothing wrong with that because they're coming out for the money. But like,
Right.
you know,
Sure.
so like, I think that's something to take into consideration.
Okay.
Can we count how many no-gi submission only guys
Yeah.
went on
And one in those unified kind of
and
tournaments.
won in those kind of tournaments?
Yeah.
Because if you pull guard, you're down.
Yeah.
You know, by a penalty.
Yeah.
There is no pulling guard.
Which I have to give a shout out to one of my instructors, Lucas
Lucas.
Lepre.
Yeah.
The only guy
he's
to
a
pull
G.
the guard because he knew that's how he'd get his points. Got to the back and submitted.
He pulled guard. Yeah, I think he swept and whatever. He got
Yeah.
points. and-
Beautiful
yeah.
sweep.
He's like, F this.
Everyone else stood for 30, 40, 60
Yeah.
minutes.
And that's not really beautiful jiu-jitsu.
that
That's
was
not really.
awful.
It's not great.
It was
You know,
awful.
But that's funny you say that because he's the guy, the prime guy that I had in mind watching that ADCC, because he sliced through so many like great no-gi guys
Uh-huh.
Oof.
and, you know, did his job.
Yeah.
You know, and he didn't win,
Mhm.
but he did
He did a hell of a job.
man,
Yeah.
you know,
Killer
Davi Ramos
campaign.
called him with, you know, something that was just beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, he
Yeah.
just called him.
Yeah.
You know, everybody gets
happens.
caught,
Yeah.
but man, looking at his jiu-jitsu, leading up until that final. It was just beautiful to watch.
Sure. Beautiful.
You know, he did a great job of, you know, one, getting to where he wanted to be, executing, and then staying out of the other guy's game.
Yeah.
Like his knee slice positions and the way he played, way he passed. He didn't allow you to even grab his leg.
There was no holes, man.
And try to like, you know, so that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Like you need a happy medium between the two. Like, and most people, you have to admit, most people would attribute Lucas Dupree as a what?
Gi guy.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the point that I'm making. So most people would attribute Buchecha as a what?
Gi guy.
Most people would now attribute Andre Galbao like more with Nogi because he's competing with Nogi. Yeah. He's competing more on Nogi a little bit more later.
Double gold.
But hey, he just won Pans last year. You know, so like these guys, like I think it's a fallacy when people say that like, you know, gi guys don't come into Nogi and do well. Like they do well.
They do well, yeah.
You know, it's just
my philosophy on gi versus no gi or doing both is to be the best in the world. If that's your goal, you want to be the best in the world ever, right? It's going to be you won't be able to be the best in the world unless you touch on unless you exhaust every option, every possibility. And you are not exhausting every possibility of techniques, transitions, learning submissions, and absorbing knowledge if you're just training with the gi. You're not. Because in the no-gi, you're getting the guys who are leg lock heavy. In the no-gi, you're getting the guys that are cool with getting their guard passed. And like you said, those nifty escapes into submissions, and that's great. And then on the flip side, if you just do no-gi, you're not getting the guys that are able to grab your gi and positionally hold you down just by the grips, or can pass your guard with grips, or can choke you with grips. So if you do both, you get the most experience possible, which means your ceiling will be able to be as high as possible. You know what I'm saying? So now you can experience the most. You won't be lost in anything. So now, not that because you do both, you will be the best in the world, but I feel like
that's
if you
prerequisite for being the best.
You won't. Your ceiling won't be able to reach the best in the world unless you do both, unless you touch on both. And it doesn't have to be like even. Like you said, Lucas, he does more gi than no-gi, but he does do no-gi. And he does see those transitions. So now when he gets when he trains with them, he doesn't get lost in those things. He knows how to deal without the gi, the quicker paced guy in the no-gi, and he knows how to deal with the slower paced guy in the gi. He knows if he gets to the back, there's this kind of choke, that kind of choke. With the gi, there's this kind of choke, that kind of choke. In the no-gi, there's more leg locks. It's just you have the most experience to take from if you train in both. And if you're a no-gi guy, you don't have to like spend your life training in the gi, but take a couple classes a week. Like who cares if you're not going to be, if you're a black belt in no-gi and you're just a blue belt in the gi, take gi classes. I guarantee you're going to get better for it just because there's more to take from. You know what I'm saying? Like more knowledge to take from. And you won't be sorry. I know when I first started training, I was just doing no gi. I didn't do gi for like 2.5 years.
There's many attributes that carry over from training gi. Then you do no gi. There's attributes that you develop in gi. Yeah, grip strength for starters, escapism for starters, and they both translate pretty well. And there's a lot of things in no gi that translate over to gi. So it's just beautiful to do both.
With that said,
hold on. Last question.
Boom. But make
Bones
it quick.
is tired. Bones, last thing. If you can only pick one cardio exercise, only one for a tournament, you can only pick one, what would it be? Would it be rolling? Would it be battling ropes? Would it be kettlebell swings? One thing.
That's not really a question.
Yo, it's one
That
thing,
is a
dog.
question,
That's
dog.
a shot out of a cannon.
There's a question.
That should be straightforward.
One
I'd rather
cardio.
roll.
One
Boom.
roll?
Yeah.
There it is, guys.
Thank you.
Just roll.
Yeah.
Hard pace though.
Stop focusing on doing the what's the thing called?
Versaclimber.
I'm
Versaclimber.
not saying Casino's going to beat your ass.
Relax on the Versaclimber, guys. Just roll hard. If you have time to roll, just roll. Forget about the Versaclimber.
the best kept secret about the best kept secret about like working out.
Please
Best
don't.
Like, I feel like, man,
secret.
if you're a jiu-jitsu athlete, I feel like you should really be using kettlebells.
Ooh.
Kettlebell
Okay.
training is like the truth.
Yeah.
Like you don't even need like a heavy kettlebell either. Like there's so much you can do with
I
kettlebell
love
training.
kettlebells, man.
Like
Okay.
for me personally, I do like a lot of stretching, like yoga.
Don't tell him.
Like,
Don't tell him.
oh, yeah.
Don't tell him.
I won't tell
Yo, you don't want to give out the fucking
Yeah, I can't
secrets.
give out the secrets.
All right,
Cool.
guys. That's about it. We don't have much time. Bones, how can people reach you? How can they follow your journey through jiu-jitsu?
Well, you can follow my journey through jiu-jitsu at my personal Instagram page
Mhm.
at @bones BJJ _.
Okay.
And you can find me on Facebook, Devante Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And you can follow my school on Instagram at Unity BJJ NJ.
NJ means New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey.
UnityBJJNJ.com.
Shout out to your team, Unity,
Super team.
Yeah.
your instructors.
Yeah, my instructor. Actually, I can give shout-outs.
Yeah,
Please give shout-outs.
Actually,
You got
You just
sponsors,
can't. You
tell 'em.
can't shout out Tiago.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, shout out to Tiago.
Tiago
Bellucci.
Bellucci.
Sup, Tiago?
Yeah, shout out to my team, Unity Jiu-Jitsu.
Show the art intern.
Shout out to my instructors.
Who's-
Shout out to
Who are your instructors?
Murilo Santana and all my training partners, because I learned from all my training partners.
Boom.
And yeah, just thanks for you guys
Okay.
How about your sponsors?
helping me out. Oh, come on, man. You let me
You
get
have
to it.
others?
Yo, dog.
Thanks to VHTS. Thanks to Rolling Clothing,
Mm-hmm.
The People's Chemist, my supplement sponsor,
Okay.
and
People's
the art.
Chemist.
all
I'm
tech.
kind of interested. Nah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Check out the People's Chemist. Great supplements.
Okay. Okay.
Supplements. Herbal supplements, I suppose.
No, they're all natural supplements. So like we actually all right, this will be real quick. They do protein, they do like vitamins, like all kind of things. Like
Nice.
he's all into like all natural cures for like illnesses, like colds and stuff like that.
Nice.
It's really good
What's
stuff.
their website?
thepeopleschemist.com.
Perfect.
Peopleschemist.com. Cool.
Oos. And you can
Oos.
find us on Instagram at xshowtheartx.com, Facebook /showtheart, or is it xshowtheart? Whatever. Just search Show the Art on Facebook,
Yeah, show the art.
Twitter, whatever, podcast, whatever, website, showtheart.co or xshowtheart.com or
What
whatever.
the?
Just follow us, god damn it. We're out.
Peace out.